Hello and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard list review. Today's list was sent in by Ben Wooding, and this was sent to me as a message on YouTube. Of course, guys, remember there's various ways you can send me in your list. You can send it as a message on YouTube. You can email it directly to me. My email address is oddworldinhabitant1293 at gmail.com. You can leave it in the comments section, or you can find me on the forum Daka Daka, where my username is FatBoyNoSlim. Yes, and also it's a good thing to remember, I go off the name that is attached to the list, so if you want me to not use your real name, then to let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to use what's there. So that's it. So Ben has sent me in a list, two lists in fact, double bill, yummy yummy, and it's a list for an upcoming tournament. The tournament has a special detachment rules, so you can't just use anything you want. Okay, and it's an 1,000-point tournament. Excellent. We'll be doing a lot of 1850. I think all the list reviews up to this point have been 1850 or nearabouts. So doing some smaller points level stuff, that's really good. So thank you, Ben, for sending this in. So the special attachment rules are: you must have one HQ and one troops. You may have additional troops. 0 to 1 elite, 0 to 1 fast, 0 to 1 heavy. So essentially, it's combat patrol up to 1,000 points in terms of the options you have. It doesn't seem that you get restricted in terms of armor or psychers or anything like that. So he must have one HQ, must have 1 to 2 troops, can have 1 elite, can have 1 fast attack, can have 1 heavy, and it's 1,000 points. Okay. List number 1, based on your foot guard list and go big or go home comments. Okay, so someone's been doing the research. Okay, forward, the pressure's on. Let's have a look. Company command squad with the last cannon, regimental standard, and melter bombs. I had 5 points left over. Okay. Drop the metal bombs straight away, fuck it. Like, you can always spend 5 points on something better than metal bombs. But yeah, last cannon, regimental standard. Love it. Good start. Platoon number 1, platoon command squad, 4 grenade launchers. You know what I'm going to say. I know you've said a comment on this saying that it's due to what you've currently got, but trust me, you don't want to put 4 grenade launchers on your platoon command squad. You are playing at 1,000 points. Every point must be squeezed at such a low points level. Okay, so 4 grenade launchers, get rid of those. Get rid of the melter bombs. So you've already saved 25 points. So you didn't have 5 points left over. You actually had 25 points left over. Blob squad, 4 las cannons and 1 commissar. Why are you not taking special weapons? That's going to be my question. Single squad with a las cannon and a primera psyker mastery level 2. Okay. And then conscripts, 40 with a commissar. Platoon number 2, platoon commander with 4 flamers, again mainly due to model collection. And then 4 blobs, 4 times infantry squads in a blob, so a 40-man blob with 4 autocannons and 1 commissar. Okay, let's take this list as a whole. You have 120 infantry, roughly. You've got 4 blobs, 1 conscript, 1 las cannon, and 1 autocannon. And then you have 1 company command squad. Okay. I like it. I think overall it's a good list, but I feel like you've spent points. Like, ask yourself this. Is that platoon command squad with the 4 flamers ever going to get to use the 4 flamers? Or is it, in fact, going to run up the board and get shot in 1 turn of shooting? You're going to lose all those flamers and it's going to be a waste of 20 points. Exactly. It's going to be a waste of 20 points, isn't it? So, drop the weapons on your platoon command squads. What you've got to remember is your platoon command squads are there to issue orders and pop off a few lasgun shots here and there, but mostly they're there to issue orders. Okay. Number 2, I feel like your single company command squad on its own is going to be a really high priority target for your opponent. Really high priority. I think we should try and come up with a way of getting either 2 company command squads in there or some protection for that company command squad. Okay? because that is the linchpin there. The Primera Psyker, Mastery Level 2. Oh, sorry, you've got 130 infantry, because that's a single squad on its own. I feel at 1,000 points, you're not going to come across a lot of Psykers yourself. I don't know. The at 1,000 points, you just want to put out as many shots as possible. Powerful shots, of course, go big or go home style, but as many as possible. And that's 75 points right there. None of that 75 points is doing any actual damage itself. Do you see what I mean? Like it's helping you, but it's not doing any damage itself. So I'd be tempted to drop it. I'd be tempted to drop it and just go for more men. Because think about this. You're not going to come across any Lords of War, are you? You're not going to cross any Imperial Knights or anything like that. So you're not going to come across any Wraith Knights, right? Think about that. As far as I can see, you're not going to come across any Wraith Knights. What you could come across is 3 Riptides in an elite section. Remember, 1 elite choice, you can take Riptides in 3s. So you need more ways of dealing with potentially 3 Riptides. Your opponent could easily turn up with a bare bones Fireblade, 2 bare bones, or a single bare bones Fire Warrior squad, and then 3 Riptides. That's what he could turn up with. Do you think your list can take that on currently? I don't think so. I think you need more heavy weapons, more damage output. So, let's have a look at what you can do here. Dump the 4 flares from Platoon Command Squad. That's 20 points. Dump the 4 grenade launchers from Platoon Command Squads. That's 40 points. Dump the Primera Psyker. That is 115 points. Dump the metal bombs. 120 points. Wow. That's 12% of your allowed points just saved. 120 points. So what can we do with 120 points? Well, we can spend 80 of them. No, not even 80, because you've already spent 10 points on your autocannons, haven't you? You spend 40 of them upgrading the other blob squad to have las cannons instead. Nice. You could do that if you want the Primera level Psyker. If you want the Primera Psyker, if you just drop your 4 flamers and 4 grenade launchers, you could still do that. I mean, how crazy is that? You could drop just the 4 flamers and then drop your 4 of your las cannons down to missile launchers, and then you could have 2 missile launcher blobs, because you could spend the points that you've saved making blob autocannon blob missile blob. That's an idea. Think about it. You're not going to come across a lot of big, hard, nasty shit. The most that someone's going to be able to do is put 3 things in a squadron. If they're putting things in a squadron, that's kind of better for you. You just throw everything at that one squadron until it dies. Okay? So, we want to get you more heavy weapons in there. We also want to get you some fucking special weapons in there. Okay? I'm kind of happy with the amount of men you've got at 1,000 points. We're looking at 130. We could boost that up. We could do that. But I'm kind of happy with what we've got. So if we spend 4 of the 120 points that we've saved, we spend 40 giving you some more las cannons. Okay, that leaves you with 80 points left over. Okay. What could we do you for 80 points? We could do a lot of special weapons, couldn't we? We could, for 80 points, roughly, get you 20 more conscripts and another commissar, and then you could have 2 30-man conscript squads if you want some more of that. Or for 80 points, you can give nearly every single one of your squads a melter gun as well. Bar 1 squad, a melter gun. That's pretty cool. You could, it's just, I'm spitballing ideas here for you, but what I'm trying to get across to you is you're spending a lot of points on things that aren't really going to contribute to the fight. And you could, the number of men you have is kind of the bare minimum you need. I would consider getting some more men, but that's secondary. You might be slightly worried about hordes. I don't know what your meta is like, but please remember that you will have so many las guns, and most horde armies are only, you know, either toughness 3 with shit armor save like Tyranids, or toughness 4 with really shit armor saves like Orcs. So your las guns will be absolutely fine for dealing with hordes. At this point level, your las guns will be working overtime, which is good. That's what you want them to do. So, just going through this, the only thing you will struggle with is 3 Riptides. Because think about it, you're not going to face like massive troop transport spam, are you? Because even let's think about an opposing list. If someone takes an HQ and puts it in a transport, and then 2 troops and puts them in transports and keeps going, the most vehicles you're really going to face is about 1, 2, 3, 4 transports, and then like, I mean, they're going to struggle, you know, to get other vehicles in. I think the most vehicles you'll face is like 6, maybe 7, and that's including like things like rhinos and razorbacks, which you can just punch through with no issues. So you're going to do really well by having this big block of men, but the only thing you're going to struggle with is monstrous creatures, so that's what we need to make sure we're countering. Okay? So, just to sum up this first list, try not to spend too much time because I appreciate you've sent 2 in. Company Command Squad, Lads Cannon, Regimental Standard. Boom, like it. Platoon Command Squad, make it bare bones. Blob Squad, Lads Cannon Blob Squad. Let's get some special weapons in there. Let's run through. Actually, you know what? Let me start this again. So, the list that I would suggest for you is this: Company Command Squad, Lads Cannon, Regimental Standard. Platoon Command Squad, bare bones. Platoon number 1, 5 squads with las cannons and 4 squads with las cannon and melter gun. 1 squad with las cannon. 40 conscripts and a commissar. Platoon number 2, Platoon Command Squad, no upgrades. Blob Squad, 4 more las cannons, 1 commissar. Okay? Oh, and 4 more melter guns as well. Okay. If you want special weapons and heavy weapons in your squads, you could consider dropping down all your las cannons to missile launchers, which will do absolutely fine at this points level because you're not going to be facing horrendous amounts of heavy armor. The heaviest armor you're going to face is a Land Raider, for example. And then you could put a plasma gun in every single squad as well. How cool would that be? You'd be rocking 9 missile launchers, 9 plasma guns, and a las cannon. Or you can rock 10 las cannons and 9 melter guns. Either way, that's a lot of anti-tank, and you've got all your las guns to do your anti-infantry. Perfect. The reason I suggested missile launchers is if you're worried about hordes. Don't know what your meta is, but missile launchers are pretty multi-purpose, and plasma guns put out more shots than melter guns, so they can, I know they're very powerful and can explode, but they are also sort of, they can chip in on the anti-horde front for extra shots. Just something to consider. So that's what I'd recommend on your first list, okay? Your second list, Mechanized Guard. This is a very, very simple list, this one. It's a company command squad with a las cannon, a chimera, a infantry platoon command squad, las cannon, chimera, 1, 2, 3 infantry squads with las cannons in chimeras, a random heavy weapons squad with 3 autocannons, you couldn't decide what to spend 75 points on, okay, and 2 hellhounds in a unit. Okay. Okay. I see where you're going with this, but I think you're going about this the wrong way. You've taken the infantry platoon because you're trying to get as many chimeras as possible. This, I understand. However, bear in mind, when your vehicles move, your heavy weapons will be snap firing out the top hatch. Also, bear in mind, you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 las cannons. Potentially not enough. Potentially. And they're not hitting very often because none of them are veterans, apart from the company command squad one. Heavy weapons squad, I mean, you take 2 sentinels instead. There you go. If you don't know what to spend, your 75 points on, you want to keep in with the aesthetic of the mech guard. Take sentinels instead of heavy weapon teams. You know, a couple of armor sentinels, you only need to find 5 points there. But what would I change about this list? Well, I would rewrite it almost completely. Remember, your chimeras come with heavy bolter and multi-laser. They are your heavy weapons for your guys that are in the fucking back of the chimera, okay? So what I would do in this case is I would take a company command squad and then 2 veteran squads, okay, because that's your 2 troops choices. And then I would take you get an elite section, right? You get an elite choice, yeah? Don't forget, my son, in the Astra Militarum, we can take Tempestus Scions in platoons. Which means for a single elite choice, you can take 30 Stormtroopers and a Stormtrooper command squad. Why am I saying this? That's more transports. That's more mech for your that's more mech for your bang for your buck on the mech front. Okay? So you could drop, what you could do is you could take a company command squad, and instead of giving them a las cannon, which is, 20 points, give them double melter gun and put them in the back of our chimera. Take 2 veteran squads. You don't have the infantry platoon command squad there. So I'm going to just put the points out on this quickly whilst I'm doing it with you. So how would I do this? I would take company command squad plus 2 melter guns plus chimera plus veteran squad plus 2 melter guns plus chimera plus veteran squad plus chimera plus melter guns, and then let's take scions in. Why don't we try scions in? You could take them in Torx Primes, but they're quite expensive. So let's just put scions in chimeras just to keep with the theme, assuming you've got these models. Okay, so it's 90 points for a scion squad with 2 melter guns plus a chimera, plus 90 points for scion squad with 2 melter guns plus a chimera. So far we're on 745 points. Do you want to keep your 2 hellhounds? If you do, 125 for a hellhound, 125 for a hellhound, 5 points left over. So what we have there is company command squad, veteran squad, company command squad, veteran squad, scion squad, and 2 hellhounds. The only thing that you're missing here is your 3 heavy weapon squads. You've got the same amount of transport, same number of squads, and you get your hellhounds. Lots of melter guns, lots of anti-tank, lots of anti-infantry on the chimeras, and lots of anti-infantry with the 2 hellhounds. That's better, isn't it? Much better. And the best bit is you don't even need to go out and buy a bunch of scion models. You could just, if you've got any normal, if you've got any guardsmen, you could just say that, the scions are guardsmen in carapace armor, for example, Don't need to go and model them, as long as it's easy for your opponent to tell which ones are your scions and which ones are your veterans. There shouldn't be any issues there. So you're now rocking 10 melter guns, 5 multi-lasers, 5 heavy bolters, and 2 hellhounds. Nice. I mean, it's even a case of, do you want the... So much time left I've got on this video. We've got 3 or 4 minutes. It's even a case of, do you want the 2 hellhounds? Are you sold on the 2 hellhounds? If you're not, that's 250 points. You could get yourself... just to spitball in here, that's minus the 250 for the hellhounds. Here, quickly. Minus 250. Add in another scion squad. And a chimera. That leaves you with 100 points left over. You could jump all the scion squads up to Torx Primes. Torx Primes are good. It's 25 points per Torx Prime, because what you want to do is you're going to want to make them... Oh no, that kind of works now, because your scions have got the melter. So the Torx Primes, I don't know, if you haven't watched my video on that, go and look at it. The Torx Primes put out a hell of a lot of anti-infantry firepower. A hell of a lot. Much better than a Chimera does. For 25 points, you could jump, which is 90 points per transport, I understand this. You could jump your Chimeras up to Dakar Primes, which they come with a twin-linked Taurox battle cannon and a hotshot volley, twin-linked hotshot volley gun or twin-linked autocannon. Okay, it's a fast vehicle, which means all those shots are going to be firing all the time, and it means your melter gun sounds can get into range and melter gun things quicker. Or your melter gun sounds don't even need to be in the Torx brand, so they can deep strike down if they want to. Okay, but I feel like that's a much more effective mech guard list. Mechanized guard doesn't really work unless you're taking veterans. I am not a big fan of veterans, obviously, but I am man enough to admit that if you go mech guard, you go veterans or you go home. Okay, so I hope you found this important. I hope you found this useful, I should say. Really enjoyed going over some smaller, lower point level lists. And just a quick recap. I think your top list could benefit from some more anti-tank and some special weapons. I think your bottom list, I think you need to be a bit smarter with how you're going to run your mechanized. I think you want a combination of veterans with melter guns and scions or stormtroopers with melter guns. I think you'll do a lot better that way. And once you've done that, you've got the flexibility of what you want. Do you want mass transports, or do you want some transports and some hellhounds? I shall leave that decision up to you. And if you want any more advice or anything discussing that, leave me a comment, Ben, and I will reply to you in the comments. Or you can send me a private message and I'll give you a bit of back and forth, whichever you prefer. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope the rest of you have found it informative and useful. And, you know, of course, I'm happy to accept any list that you guys send in. And, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.